Welcome back to the channel. My name is Yaniv Hoffman. So a couple of weeks ago, we had explored a computer worm called Stuxnet and the damage it can cause to organization. If you don't know what Stuxnet is, you can go through our latest video. You can see I will leave the link in the description so you can gain better, and this is the second chapter. And today we will look at a similar and perhaps more dangerous even, but lesser talked about advanced malware with a sweet sounding, innocent name, Duqu. However, do not be fooled by its innocent name, as Duqu can prove to be one of the worst computer worms in history, one that can quickly disarm computer systems. So how did the world come to know about Duqu? And the crisis or cryptography and system security lab of Budapest, University of Technology and Economics, discovered Duqu and classified it as an advanced computer worm on September 1st, 2011. Duqu reassembles the Stuxnet that caused the havoc with Iranian nuclear turbines the previous year. And it is widely believed that the same entity created the Stuxnet and Duqu worm. So how did it get its unique name Duqu? Interestingly enough, Duqu gets its name from the files it creates, as all Duqu files have the prefix DQ. What is unique about Duqu is believed to be created as a substitute for Stuxnet, which can be used to launch Stuxnet worm-like attacks in the future. It was similar to the Stuxnet worm in many ways, such as it was a highly targeted computer worm discovered globally on less than 50 systems. It used zero-day Windows kernel vulnerabilities to self-install. It used compromised digital keys to sign its components. But hang on, Duqu is different from Stuxnet. Though Duqu resembles Stuxnet, it had its own unique features as well. Duqu was different from Stuxnet in two key areas. The first, while Stuxnet was designed to disrupt industrial SCADA systems in nuclear power plants, Duqu targeted industrial machines within specific companies. Second, while Stuxnet traveled on USB sticks and spread to Microsoft Windows computers, Duqu used spear phishing email techniques with an attached MS Word document. Lastly, I think it's important to mention that Duqu gathered intelligence through various means, such as keylogging, stealing digital certificates and private keys, and recording system information. So let's understand how does Duqu spreads. While computer worms are known to circulate widely, Duqu does not. Instead, it accesses network systems through spear phishing email with a Microsoft Word attachment containing the malware. And the malware self-executes the moment the user opens the document. Now, Duqu remains dormant, waiting for a few minutes before downloading and installing additional Duqu modules to drop data stealing tools to gather more information from targets. This information is encrypted and compressed locally on the infected system. From there, it gets appended to a JPG file for clarification. Thus, it disguises data transmission as regular network traffic. It has been observed that most Duqu infections occur at organizations involved in manufacturing industrial control systems. Duqu does not harm manufacturing, but steals critical information to lay the groundwork for a Stuxnet-like attack, indicating Duqu's primary purpose of stealing information and communicating it to malicious actors. So Duqu technical aspects. Technically, Duqu is a RAT, a remote access Trojan, specializing in stealing critical data from the network system it affects. Duqu uses some common source codes used by the Stuxnet worm itself, designed to disrupt industrial processes. These worms use a similar kernel driver for decrypting and loading the encrypted DLL files, allowing the worm to self-inject into the network system processes. A noteworthy aspect of Duqu's command and control architecture is that it uses potential zero-day exploit, actually CVE 2011-3402, which affects the OpenSSH 4.3 version and enabling it to control new servers. Research revealed that hackers immediately updated OpenSSH version 4.3 to version 5.8 in each ACT server. The reason could be to remediate the vulnerability used to hack the server. However, it would also prevent others from regaining control of an ACT server. So another school of thought was that the hackers forced SSH passwords on their ACT servers. Duqu also had a particular affinity with Linux distribution CentOS 5.x. So Duqu's command and control communication software was written in a mystery language different from that used to write other Duqu models. The mystery was resolved with an answer being a particular variant of the C programming language. The object-oriented C had another characteristics attracting controversy, that the hacker did not use a mainstream language, which means it could have the work of highly skilled hackers, probably founded by a nation state. Who were affected by the attack? Kaspersky researchers first detected the Duqu to have targeted entities involved in the negotiations of the Iranian nuclear deal. And as mentioned earlier, Duqu targeted industrial machines within this specific organization. Symantec researchers confirmed that 6 possible infected organizations in 8 countries, namely the Netherlands, France, Switzerland, Iran, India, Ukraine, Vietnam, and Sudan. The list of infected organizations is not available, as Symantec could trace these organizations only up to their ISPs. Other security vendors have also reported Duqu infections in the US, Indonesia, Hungary, and Austria. And according to the reports, Duqu exists in multiple variants, each with unique signature. A common thing amongst these is that the Duqu configuration files contain a self-deletion time window, usually set between 30 to 36 days. Who knows, maybe Duqu was designed with a removal mechanism to prevent its discovery. So how to detect it if Duqu infects your network? So ICS CERT recommends few strategies to identify instances of Duqu running on your system. And as an IT admin, they need to diligently monitor internal and external network traffic. They should keep looking for unknown or unusual data traffic from strange IP addresses, as Duqu could compromise internal systems and use them as a pivot point to move through the network. Additionally, need to keep your firewalls intact and robust cybersecurity tools installed that can help identify the presence of Duqu. You can also monitor system directories and services and ensure there has been no access by an unknown entity. Now that you know everything about it, as much as I could explain, so time to see how to mitigate the risk posed by Duqu. So that was about how you can detect Duqu presence in your information system. But let's see how you can mitigate the threat altogether. For that, you should pay attention to the points as Microsoft has announced interim mitigation for the previously unknown zero-day vulnerability exploited by Duqu in its TechHant security advisory. And I will highlight some of these points here. First and foremost, all control system devices should have minimum network exposure, with critical devices not facing the internet directly. Using firewall, you should isolate control system networks and remote devices from the business network. Use a secure remote access method like VPN whenever the situation demands it. You also must constantly monitor, especially for new files added to system directories and new services running on client machines. Monitoring the internal and external network traffic is essential to identify anomalies such as traffic spikes, beaconing to new or unknown IP addresses, outgoing binary files, especially the JPG format, HTTP and HTTPS traffic from machines without browsing, unexplained traffic between your internal network system, and adopting practices to protect your network from social engineering attacks, like refraining from clicking on suspicious web links and opening unsolicited email attachments. Take all the necessary steps to protect your network from email scam and avoid social engineering or phishing attacks as listed by CISA. But before we wrap up, here is something that only a few people know about in the cybersecurity space, and it is Duqu 2.0. What is Duqu 2.0? Let's talk about it a bit, about the more sophisticated version of the original Duqu. So Duqu appeared in October 2011 and went dark the following year. Everyone thought it was over, but Duqu resurfaced in 2015 when Kaspersky detected the cyber intrusion affecting its internal systems. Kaspersky researchers identified this malware as Duqu 2.0. And Duqu 2.0 followed its predecessor's footsteps and commenced with a spear phishing attack against the Kaspersky firm in the Asia-Pacific region. The similarities with Duqu emerged because the worm wiped out the victim mailbox and browser history to avoid detection. And here is what you must know about Duqu. Duqu 2.0 exploited multiple zero-day vulnerabilities, and I will put it on the screen so you can see all the CVEs. However, the aspect that confirmed its similarity to the original Duqu was that it targeted IT security firms and entities linked to Iran nuclear deal negotiation, especially the P5+1 countries, the US, UK, Germany, France, Russia, and China. So if this is not enough, there are two more variants of Duqu 2.0. Another important input to mention is that Duqu 2.0 comes in two variants. The first one acts as a backdoor to allow its entry by infecting multiple computers. The second one aided the backdoor with its sophisticated features and additional modules. So Duqu 2.0 also used a stolen certificate from Foxconn to remain undetected. And Kaspersky confirmed that Duqu 2.0 used a powerful and rare technique as it relied on an exploit allowing the hackers to jump directly from the Microsoft Word document into the kernel mode. And these attacks, Kaspersky proved that the Duqu threat is far from over, since it evolved from Duqu to Duqu 2.0, and who is to stop another transition for Duqu 3.0. Hence, as a business organization or even as an individual, one should buckle up and remain vigilant towards such cyber attacks. So wrapping up, though it remains a mystery whether Duqu and Stuxnet have the exact origins, security firms strongly believe that something more is yet to come. No one can rule out the presence of powerful state forces behind the Stuxnet and Duqu worms, especially with the similarities in their models. Regardless of these origins, you need to remember that such cyber threats can prove spin-breaking for your business. Hence, always take and advocate precautions and always keep good cyber hygiene. The next topic will be chapter number 3, and maybe the last in this series, about another dangerous malware that is called Flame, that also targeted organization, but for cyber espionage. So stay tuned. So hope you enjoyed this video and hope to see you in the next one. Thank you very much.